today to talk a little bit about seedbed preparation. As we had snow on the ground last week, this week we're starting to see some soils dry out, and so I want to do some demonstrations quick on what to look for. We have an example here of very wet soils. This obviously is right next to the edge of the field, which is where we will see a lot of wet soils this year. When we take this and put it into a ball in our hands and then squeeze it between our pointer finger and our thumb, this stuff comes out really wet and slimy. This of course is not very good for seed bed to place seeds into, so an area like this we probably want to stay out of with the digger. Show you what an area that's dry looks like. We come out of that wet hole that I was just standing in. Now we were pretty brisk here last night, so the soil's a little bit harder than if it were 80 degrees outside. But all we do is we push it between our finger and our thumb, and this soil should come out and break off like this is doing within an inch. So once we start getting to an area that's too wet and putting it through our fingers, something like this, we'll be able to push out in ribbons that are a couple inches long, and that's something we don't want to see. The same way can be judged when we know that the soil is dry enough to plant in after we dig. If we go out here right after we dig, we'll have soil that looks like this. It's really wet, it's all mixed up, so we want to give it plenty of time to aerate and dry out before we come in with the planter. If we do that, if we don't wait, we'll have issues with sidewall compaction. As we get out and start planting, if the soils are too wet, you'll see very little chunks in the soil. It'll also be very smooth, and you can also see water sliding out of it, more of a wet surface on sidewall compaction. So we want to make sure that we have a very nice seed bed that we're placing the seed into. To show you guys an example of what we would consider good soil, this is an area of the field that is drier, and so you can see when we put our shovel down here, it's a lot more loose. You can see that there's more air in the soil. It's not as wet looking. This is more of how it should look after the planter goes through and your double disc openers open it up for your seed bed. This is much better conditions that we're going to want to plant into. Since it's May, we should be just more worried about that if we're going to place the seed in there, that we don't have sidewall compaction issues, and we're making sure that we give it a good seed bed, because I think we're only going to get one chance to plant this year.